Welcome, everyone, to another sports wrap-up show. I'm Ryan Nelson, joined by two different people today. I'm joined by Ryan Dalkin, and then our newest guest, our NBA insider, I'll call him today, Matt McMaster.
NBA guru.
NBA guru, Matt McMaster. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Hello, Ryan. Ryan.
Welcome back, Ryan. Welcome back, Ryan.
Ryan. So
Ryan Squared is here today,
Yeah.
along with Matt. So today, you know what? We talk a lot of football. We talk a lot of baseball. We talk a lot of hockey. We do not give enough love to the NBA. I know ESPN does enough, but sometimes we have to stroke our own egos and talk about some NBA stuff. So
yeah, bring in the closer.
Exactly. So we're gonna talk about some NBA, what our predictions are for the season, who we think's gonna be good, who we not think gonna be good. Me and Matt were comparing before the show. Ryan, I know you just showed up. We have some pretty similar lists, honestly.
I was surprised. I thought I had some hot takes.
I thought I had hot takes as well. But you know what? Let's just go right into it. Let's start with the West. No, sorry. You know what? Let's start with the East, actually.
Yeah, it'll take like 5 minutes.
Yeah. So the East, we definitely know it's the lesser conference. I don't think there's any.
No doubt. No doubt about it.
That. So honestly, my first seed in the East is Boston. I don't think there's any questioning that. Just because Boston's got Kyrie, they have Gordon, they have Horford, they have Tatum, they have Smart, they have talent outside the door, outside the TD Garden. There's a line building up of just Celtics players.
Oh yeah,
I think they're number one seed.
I disagree with you. I've always been a big Kyle Lowry guy. I've always been a big Toronto guy. And my favorite player in the NBA is Kawhi Leonard. So I went Raptors 1, and the big reason is because the hardest position to guard, at least in the NBA, in my perspective, is the small forward position, because you just have, not only do you have height and you have power, LeBron and Kevin Durant and all the top players in the league. You need to guard that, and I think that was a very big weakness of the Raptors in the past, and they go out and they get probably the best guy to do it, Kawhi Leonard. So they're one. I have Celtics too, just because of what you were saying.
So I don't like Toronto this year. I think Kawhi is going to fit well. They're
3-0, right? And I think they have fit well, and Kyle Lowry is the X factor this year, and he's averaging 10 assists a game right now.
I think Kyle Lowry's going to cool off. I don't think you can average 10 assists when you're Kyle Lowry. I think he's going to revert back to his Memphis days where he's just a B minus C+ player.
So I think what people don't exactly realize is that DeMar was a lot of, let me get the ball, let me go in and out, hit a midi. Ryan, that's right, mid-range. Midi is mid-range. Mid-range shot. Kawhi is a lot more of a system player. He's not an isolation player. I think that's what adds to his value. He's able to fit into a system a lot better than DeMar is. So that's why I think that's allowed Kyle Lowry to get more assists, because when you pass it to DeMar and he's holding the ball for 15 seconds, that's not an assist. So.
Not to be too NFL centric here, but he's not a system quarterback.
He's not a system quarterback.
He's a guy you plug into any offense, he's going to play well.
Exactly.
See, I like that. I think Jonas Valanciunas is actually the X factor with that team.
Yeah.
I think he's a guy who gets rebounds, he puts up offense, he plays defense team. I think he's a good player, but he's got to be on. And I don't know. I think the coaching staff's going to be in turmoil this year without Dwayne Casey there. They fired the coach of the year.
Who did they hire?
I can't even tell you, by the way, just because they should have hired. They should have kept Dwayne Casey.
I mean, Casey is making everybody pay right now. I mean, the Detroit looks really good. We'll get to them in a little bit.
But here, you know what? I think so. Toronto in my list number 4. And the two teams I had ahead of them is Milwaukee and Philadelphia.
Okay.
Milwaukee I have number 2 over Philadelphia.
Okay.
So let's.
I do too. I have them over Philadelphia as well.
So let's talk about Milwaukee then. Ryan, you put your list together right at the moment.
Yes.
You have Boston, Toronto, Milwaukee right now.
Yes,
so.
I do.
All right. So. I guess you won that one, Ryan.
Well, I would say no. Listen, I would think Boston is definitely going to be ahead of Toronto just because of how we look at how well Boston played last year.
Yeah, no, they're a team. They're a team.
In the playoffs, They were without Gordon Hayward
and without Kyrie. Yeah.
And they have them both back this year, and I think they're going to be extremely good this year.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people were worried about how they would fit in like Gordon Hayward, especially because they did so well without him.
Oh yeah.
He'll be back, and it'll all be okay. I think the biggest threat last year in the East was Boston, and they really showed it, and they came out and were just really good. And although they lost to the Cavs.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think
they lost to LeBron, right? Not to they lost to LeBron.
They lost to LeBron, as we see with the Cavs right now, 0-4.
So, I totally forgot what I was about to say.
Milwaukee?
It's okay.
Milwaukee?
Yeah, no, let's talk about Milwaukee. So I think that Milwaukee is over Philadelphia.
I think it is.
And I think it's because it's not just because they have better players. They're both, both teams both have talent. But I think there's a couple X factors on this team. I think the first thing is that I think them getting rid of Jabari Parker was a very smart move, and not only because they don't have to pay him and they get to save some money for Giannis and other guys if they want to add him, but Chris Middleton, now that he's got more room on the floor to operate.
Most underrated, in my opinion, player in the NBA.
So underrated. He has a lot more room to operate on the floor now that Jabari is out of the picture, and that he's getting a lot of Jabari shots now, and he's averaging 24 points a game, and he's taking a lot more threes, and he's making a lot more. Malcolm Brogdon is a very underrated guy, great 3-and-D player. He only averages 12 points, with 30 minutes a game, which isn't great. But you can look past it when you have Giannis Antetokounmpo scoring 35 points a game, and Brook Lopez is probably one of the best pickups.
I think he's a great acquisition because he also teaches Thon Macar how to play the game.
Yeah, Thon Maker.
Thon Macar.
Is that how you say it?
You know what? I think there's interviews with him saying, you know what, I really don't care how you pronounce my name, but you know what, I like to say Macar because it makes me sound smarter. Let's be honest.
I'm okay with not sounding smarter. I'll just say.
In my opinion, I think Lopez teaches him pretty well.
Oh yeah.
I think Giannis is the MVP this year. I'm gonna come out and say it. I think Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to win Most Valuable Player.
Hot take.
Hot take. Hot.
Please prove me. Tell me why not. He can be on. Tell me why not.
I think it's gonna be Kyrie.
He's gonna be on a top 3 team in the East. He's triple doubles all across the board. He can rebound. He can throw. He can pass the ball. He can score.
Is that really because he's that amazing,
yes.
Or is that because he gets the
he's
ball
a freak of nature.
50% of the time when he's 60% of the time when he's on offense?
Okay,
look, he's an amazing player. Will he finish top 3 in the MVP voting? Yes, he will. Would the Bucks still make the playoffs if he wasn't on the team? Yes, they would. They would. That's to me is the most valuable player.
Ooh,
That's to me the most valuable player is if you took them off their team, how would that team perform?
They would not make the playoffs. They wouldn't sniff the playoffs.
Oh my God.
Middleton's only good for such a degree.
Let me give you the lineup. Let me give you this lineup, okay? And I'll predict it to my 8th seed, which is the Charlotte Bobcats or
Charlotte Hornets.
The Charlotte Hornets.
That team. This team is Charlotte.
They're still under 500, no matter what their name is. So the Charlotte's starting lineup. Okay?
The Charlottes, just not even the name anymore.
Their starting lineups as of yesterday. They had Kemba Walker, Nicholas Batum, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Marvin Williams, and our internet's not working, so I don't know who their power forward is, but that's their lineup. And then let's compare that to Eric Bledsoe, Malcolm Brogdon, Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, and their next guy would be Ersan Ilyasova.
I'd take Hornets.
You would take the Hornets?
I would take the Hornets. I think Kemba is the star on that team. Without Giannis, Bucks have no star.
Name the next. Back, so yeah, keep going.
Name the next team that
I don't look. I think that the true MVP, and he has been the MVP of the league for the past 12 years.
Wait, when he was drafted in 2003, right?
Well, he wasn't the MVP in 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That was Kobe and Paul.
You can make a point that he was.
You could, but Okay, fine. You prove my point even further. The last 15 years has been LeBron James.
It has.
And I think when the LA makes the playoffs, I think everyone will be like, okay, we're gonna have to give him like this MVP because he's gonna have a ridiculous season. And then I think Kawhi, you could say that he could be an MVP this season. I don't think you can just right now say who no doubt is going to be the MVP. Look, we got a lot to talk about.
We do, but I think Kawhi has to win an MVP at some point in his career if he wants to be considered one of the best.
I think he's all around. We're talking like if you put pound for pound fight.
Yes.
If you put everything together, I think the power rankings of the NBA is LeBron, Kawhi, and KD.
I think so as well.
And the only reason why I put Kawhi over KD is because KD can't play defense the way Kawhi does.
Yeah. Kawhi's the best defensive player in the league right now, but he's also one of the best offensive players in the league too.
Exactly. And that's why he's so unique.
Let's move on to the team none of us seem to like, Philadelphia. One of the best teams in the league last year. They're only young. They're only going to get better. So why are they so low?
Let me break a couple of things down for you here. If you look at that backcourt, Markelle and Ben Simmons, right? They are great at driving to the hoop.
That's stupid good.
That's super good. Stupid skilled, right? They can make any shot. They can make anyone on their team better. They can create any shot for their teammates. And it's great and everything. Ryan Dalkin, can you answer me how many threes in the last year that backcourt has made combined?
2.
They made 1 3-pointer.
Sorry, go ahead. Keep on going.
They've made 1 3-pointer. You cannot win in this league at least now by making 1 3-pointer. So
I think you can. When you have Ben,
I don't think. But
when you are throwing out,
you don't because when you are throwing out seed.
Let me speak. When you're throwing out Markelle Fultz, a first overall pick, Ben Simmons, a first overall pick,
that's his only claim.
Joel Embiid, 3rd overall pick.
Yeah,
Robert Covington, one of the underrated players in the league.
That's very true.
You're throwing out all these players out there.
Look, but my most concerning thing is when your center is the second best 3-point shooter on your team. Like, I know that's the NBA we're coming to, and JJ Redick is phenomenal off the bench. He's great. He can't be your only source of 3-point shots.
What about Dario Saric?
Dario can make look. There's a difference between a 3-point shooter and he can make the 3.
True.
Dario and Joel can make it, right? But you need 3-point. You need at least 2 to 3.
And that's why the triple-double master Gigi McConnell is there.
I don't think
Okay, so
don't miss me with that.
I do have the 76ers as the what do I have it? Number 4?
Yeah,
no, sorry.
And you have Raptors at
sorry. No, I have the 3. I'm number 3 over the Raptors.
So you're Celtics, Bucks, Sixers, Raptors.
I think the 76ers are a new age NBA team because
they don't make threes?
No, sorry. Because I think they're moving past threes now. I think they're seeing how a 6'11 or whatever 6'10 point guard in Ben Simmons can dominate a league. I think Ben Simmons is the kind of guy he was compared to LeBron coming out of college. There's a reason for that. I mean, you're not saying LeBron was bad the first 14 years of his career because he couldn't shoot threes, were you? And LeBron still led teams to great playoff spots.
I think you're missing my words here. Ben Simmons is a phenomenal player. Okay, he really. If I could pick to be any player in the NBA, right, it probably would be Ben Simmons, right? And if I could start like a franchise.
And why do you need 3-point shooters then?
Wait. If I could start a franchise, I would pick Ben Simmons, right? But is he gonna win championships with this team?
Okay, let's run on this. If you had to pick one NBA player, who would you start a franchise? You'd pick Ben Simmons.
I would pick Ben Simmons. I would put pieces around. Three-point shooters around.
Are we talking like
any
franchise?
Yes.
Or are we talking?
We're starting the 33rd. You have the 33rd team in the NBA. You can call it the Ryan Dawkins. Okay.
Yes.
You get to pick. And Adam Silver comes up to you and he's like, "Hey Ryan, look, you get to pick one player from any team. Who would you pick?"
I know exactly who I'm picking.
You pick Giannis, right?
I'd pick Giannis all the way. I think that he is a great player who's only 25, and he's only going to get bigger. He's only going to get stronger. He's only going to get more mature. This guy, I think, maybe I'm just crushing on Giannis too much, but
I think you are.
Maybe. No, I don't think I am, because I think Giannis is going to be one of the best players in the league for the next 2 years.
Ryan, I said I'd pick Simmons. Who would you pick?
I don't want to hop on the bandwagon, but I would have to say Giannis too.
Wow.
Honestly, I would. Like, I don't. Like, don't be like, oh yeah, bandwagon.
Ryan squared.
The Ryans think alike.
Like one of the first times, I agree with Ryan.
Yeah.
Like, I agree with you. I think Giannis he's a dynamic player. He's a big guy. He can shoot threes. He can go down. He's amazing. Layup, he can dunk. He plays very well on defense, and he's young, and he's just. He's so good.
You got to look. I don't know. I'm very getting logistic about a very hypothetical, never gonna happen question.
But what are you talking? I'm talking with Adam Silver right now about this. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think it's a lot easier to build around Ben Simmons than it is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Only because I think Ben Simmons is more of a playmaker than Giannis is, and I don't think you can't deny that. And I'm not saying Giannis is.
I'm not denying that.
Yeah, Giannis makes plays, but I think it's easier. I'll make a bet with you that Simmons wins the title before Giannis.
Well, that's different because he has.
Regardless of their team, though. Regardless of their team.
Well, you can't make it regardless of the team because Ben Simmons is full of top 5 picks.
Okay, sorry. That's the wrong way.
Giannis is bringing a bunch of no-names.
I think Simmons, who would it be easier to win a championship with? I think it's Simmons because he's more of a playmaker, and you could build a team around him further.
I don't know. I like that. I think this is a very fair argument.
We could go on. We can go on for hours, but frankly, we can't.
Yes. So let's move on to the rest of the East. So Boston, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Toronto, in any order are top 4 undenied. Yeah. The bottom 4 is very similar. I know for Matt and I at least. I have Washington, Indiana, Detroit, Charlotte. Let me just talk you in there. Washington, I think the number 5 just because Wall and Bradley Beal. I don't like the rest of the team around them. That's why they're number 5. Indiana, I think is going to be the best team, one of the best teams in the league this year because Oladipo, I think, is going to be the second overall pick.
6 though?
I do because I can't bet against John Wall just yet. I think John Wall's still got a bit in him that I think he's going to be good enough.
Fine. I disagree, but I get what you're saying.
I like Indiana because they also added Tyreek Evans to that team as well.
I do. I'll talk a little bit about Indiana, but you keep going.
Okay, but I just like Indiana as a whole. I think that the Paul George trade, I think it's not as big of a win for the Thunder as we thought it was at the beginning because Oladipo is starting to come out pretty strong.
And another guy on that team, Domantas Sabonis, has made, who was in that trade. Has made a lot of value.
Yes, and just to explain the next 2, Detroit is solely because Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond, and
I totally agree.
Gosh, I'm forgetting his name right now. He's blanking my mind. Dwayne Casey.
Yeah.
Because I think Dwayne Casey is good with big man. And I think Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond are some of the best in the league. And then Charlotte, I said I liked Kemba. I like the roster. It's a team it's almost like a prove me team.
Yeah.
They
make a lot of threes.
Gilchrist, Lamb. I think they got some guys who have been touted so highly and have not underperformed. I think they're a team that's going to make playoffs.
I think Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is the key to that team. If he can be the player he was supposed to be when he was drafted, I think they'll be a 6 seed.
Okay.
I wouldn't bet on that though.
Yeah, I wouldn't
that's just
either.
A very big hypothetical. For me, I had the same thing. I just switched the Pacers and the Wizards only because I'm not as high on John Wall. I think Bradley Beal is better than John Wall.
Oh, wow.
But look, I'm more about, skilled-wise, John Wall is a better player.
Yeah.
But we're talking about teams. Who's more valuable to a team? I think right now, three-point shooters are in high demand. So
they are, but so are playmakers.
Yeah, exactly. So, to me, it's very marginal. It's neither here nor there. I think that my dark horse for the East would be the Indiana Pacers.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Keep going.
They would be it would be the Indiana Pacers only because they're a good defensive team. Victor Oladipo is a great player. One thing that I didn't like that they didn't do this offseason was they didn't add a center. I think there are a lot of guys on that team that they could have added with Miles Turner, like Brook Lopez, Gortat, JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard. That could have made them a top 4 team in the East, but they didn't do it. But I think there's a lot of talent there, a lot of scoring. So if there's one team that's going to screw this whole prediction up, it's going to be the Indiana Pacers on the east side.
Ryan?
Yeah, I have my bottom 4. I got Indiana. I think the Pacers are going to do pretty well this year. Then I've got Washington, Charlotte, and then Detroit. So I think the East is probably one of the easiest. It is definitely the easier of the two.
Oh yeah. So now we're gonna get into the ridiculous, like, we could be either the geniuses of the world and get all this right, or we could just look like idiots and get all these wrong. Because like this, I mean, I listed 1 through 11 on the West because it's so tight. So we'll start. I'll start at least. I have the Warriors 1.
Yes.
I don't.
Wait, you have the Warriors number 1? Oh my gosh, it's an anarchy.
Okay, I will say this though. I don't think they're a lock. Look.
You were talking about this earlier.
I was talking about this earlier. I'm very high on this. Will the Warriors win the championship? Like, if I had to pick, we'll do who we think the conference finals are going to be and stuff like that, and who's going to win the championship. The Warriors are my pick to win the championship. I think they should be everybody's. They deserve to be.
If they are not, you got
some guts.
Yes,
You got some guts.
That's a great way to put it.
But I think that they're not a lock.
Okay.
And the only reason why I say this is because, first off, one thing we didn't talk about, Ryan, before the lesser Ryan showed up late, was that DeMarcus Cousins ruptured.
He did.
Big word. Ruptured his Achilles. Tearing your Achilles, straining your Achilles, is all Achilles injuries are very, very serious. But rupturing is probably the worst. Getting your mobility back from a rupture is horrible because that's the whole tendon. When you pull it or when you tear it, right? You're only getting away of like certain, like, in a very small area of your Achilles. When you rupture it, like that's a very, like, so it's almost the whole thing. So I think his mobility in a very fast-paced moving Warriors offense, his mobility is going to be very down.
Yes,
and I don't think he'll fit in Look, he's DeMarcus Cousins. He's going to fit in the Warriors offense. Will he fit in perfectly to the point where they're like death row or murderer's row and they're like the 27 Yankees and like they'll kill everybody? No, they won't. But I think they'll end up winning the title, and their depth isn't nearly as good as it has been in the past. And I never thought I would say this. They're going to miss JaVale McGee this year.
Okay, so I want to talk about the DeMarcus Cousins point because, yes, DeMarcus is not going to be as good as he was for the Pelicans or the Kings.
And by the way, don't fact check my science. That's probably all wrong, but I know a rupture is horrible.
Okay, so DeMarcus Cousins, can we agree that before injury he was the best center in the league?
No, he was a top 5 player in the league.
Top 5 player?
Top 5 in value and in
skill. Number 1 center?
Number 1 center.
Okay, thank you. I got that on tape. I'll play it back to you in a second.
I think his peer who was on his team, Anthony Davis was the next best player.
Cool.
I think he was 6.
Okay. Let me go through my point, and then you can refute it and argue it as you want.
Okay.
So, DeMarcus Cousins was the best center before he got injured.
Yes.
He's going to be limited mobility. He's not going to be as good. He's going to be out till December. No matter what you want to say, he's not going to be he's not going to be the DeMarcus Cousins we know and love and respect as the best center in the league. But if you're the Warriors, do you take the possible number 1 center fully healthy and fully agile, or do you take a slightly bruised up DeMarcus Cousins, who's still a top 10 center in the league, over Zaza Pachulia and JaVale McGee? Combined, they're still not a top 10 center. And I think DeMarcus, how do you go from being number 1 to below top 10 because of a ruptured Achilles?
Okay, so I will say this. A ruptured Achilles, right, and the only reason why it's not considered this is because it doesn't happen a whole lot, right, is almost is you could. I don't look. We need a doctor in here, but you could argue that it's almost as bad as a torn ACL.
I think so as well, but people are coming back.
And I think the biggest argument is obviously Derrick Rose. Now look, Derrick Rose looks amazing right now. Right, he looks like he's a top 5 point guard in the league, but he tore his ACL at least for the first time in 2012. Okay.
You know who else tore their ACL?
It's 2018.
You know who else tore their ACL?
Shaun Livingston.
Zach LaVine.
Zach LaVine. And how many years could it take them to get back into full? I'm talking full. Like, okay, he's the same. Zach LaVine didn't have a good year last year.
No,
he didn't
not.
have a great year. And I don't think it's gonna be like, oh my God, DeMarcus Cousins. I know he's not gonna be the number one center of the league. I don't think he'll be a top. I think JaVale McGee will be probably better than banged up. JaVale McGee looks really good. JaVale McGee is averaging.
DeMarcus Cousins.
But I think, look, it's a big like debuff on him. Is that the right word? Right? Or I don't know.
I was just trying to say.
You're nerfing DeMarcus Cousins. Like he's not as good as he used to be. Look, the Warriors are still gonna. I think they'll still win the title. But because of, I don't think Cousins is a lock to be what he used to be, and he's not even he's going to be there for a year. I mean, he's not going to be there next year. So.
I don't think he's going to resign either. You know what? We've talked enough about Golden State. They get enough attention. Let's go to numbers 2 through 8 because this surprised me. I thought I was
I was crazy too.
We both thought we were crazy, and we agreed. Utah Jazz number 2.
Yeah.
We have them both at number 2 seed, and I'll explain why. Matt will probably say the exact same things and more because he's smarter than me. But Rudy Gobert is a top 5 center in the league. He's a best shot blocking center, best shot blocking player in the league total.
Oh yeah.
Donovan Mitchell was a top 10. I'm sorry.
He dropped. By the way, Donovan Mitchell dropped 40 points last night, and no one talked about it. I think that's
because Curry dropped 51.
I think that's a crime.
Dang.
He dropped 4, and they beat the Rockets last night.
Okay, I want to ask you a question because I haven't talked to you much. Was Ben Simmons deserving of the Rookie of the Year last year? Was he a rookie? And was he
okay, so I think a big part about being a rookie is also learning the culture of the NBA, right? Even though that Ben Simmons was out for most of the year, he was still traveling and he was still with the 76ers. He still kind of got all that, like, rookie jitters, like, he was still experiencing the NBA, which I think was a big advantage against, all the other actual rookies. So no, I don't think he should have won.
So
the Rookie of the Year.
Then at least in my mind and Matt's mind, I'm not sure about you, Ryan. Donovan Mitchell is the Rookie of the Year last year. They have Rudy Gobert. They got Joe Ingles, who's been
lights out 3-point shooter, underrated player.
He is, and I just think that those 3 guys and all the other guys in that team, Dante Exum, I believe, is still there.
Keep going.
He's a guy who's been young. He was drafted early on. He hasn't developed much, but I think he's a guy who can.
He's a role player. And you know what? You win championships with role players. Your starting 5 can only take you so far. And we'll actually get back to how important depth is after the Rockets. Like, I'm going to hammer in all my points when we get to the Rockets. That'll be fun.
Okay. But finally, I think the MVP of the Utah Jazz this season is, no doubt in my mind,
say it.
The second best coach in the NBA, Quinn Snyder.
I thought you were going to say Ricky Rubio.
No. I'm saying Quinn Snyder being the second best coach in the NBA behind Brad Stevens.
So Popovich isn't number... Look.
Not anymore.
The Spurs are battered. They're banged up. They don't have. They have DeMar, but they don't have great players around them. But they look like a team. I think Popovich is going to be the best coach in the league until he retires. So that's just me. That's just how I feel.
I think Quinn Snyder is the next. I think he's the next Brad Stevens.
I never. That's interesting. I never heard about that, but I'll take your word for it.
I think Quinn Snyder's the next.
Yeah, guy. I like the Jazz. Number 3 for me, and for Ryan. Is the Denver Nuggets.
I'm excited about this team.
I am so wow. That was very emphatic. So people don't realize about the Nuggets is that they've been building this team, right, for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And that a lot about like these first 10 games, people don't realize are so. If I could swear, I'd swear right now. They are so important.
But you can.
But I can't, so I'm not going to. They're so important because you're building up chemistry, right, through these first 10 games. And a lot of teams are going to drop games because they don't have chemistry. The Lakers, they dropped two. I think they dropped 2 games already against the Rockets and the Spurs. And I think that the Celtics are going to, and the Raptors, I think they've already gotten chemistry, but you just keep building up chemistry. I think the biggest factor is the Mavericks. I mean, they lost against Atlanta last night strictly because of those guys don't know how to play together yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think the Nuggets, because they've been playing so together, and I think another guy who isn't a system quarterback is Paul Millsap. I think you can kind of plug Paul Millsap into anywhere, and he's still a really good basketball player. And everyone's kind of forgotten about him because Denver's a really small market.
It is, and I think Millsap, he's a guy who was a big free agent signing the year before, got injured, didn't play last year. Yeah. But I think the most important guy in this team is Nikola Jokic, because he's your point guard, center, small forward, shooting guard.
3-point shooter.
3-point shooter, specialist, role player.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Every single part of your team is Nikola Jokic.
Gary Harris, Jamal Murray, Will Barton. He's out for a little bit. I think that'll hurt him. But as long, I'll get to that one too. As long as he's back for the playoffs, I think they're okay. But one guy who we've yet to talk about, who I personally don't like, Isaiah Thomas.
Okay.
I'm a big defense guy.
So you're not an Isaiah Thomas fan?
I'm not a big look. As long as he comes off the bench and they don't get crazy with him and he gets 15 minutes. He will score 10 points, have 4 assists and 4 rebounds. That's perfect. 15 minutes is a good benchmark for Isaiah Thomas. He'll be one of the best role players in the league, because he's literally the worst defensive player in the NBA in the last 40 years.
I think what you use Isaiah Thomas for is that time those moments where you're down by 2 in the last seconds. You need a 3. You need a shot. You need a clutch player. He's a clutch player.
He's got an ego, though. Let's be real. He's got an ego.
He's not going to like coming off the bench, but I think that's the way he has to play.
Yeah, that's my only worry about. We're not going to get in too big about team guys, but that's my only worry about Isaiah Thomas. Is he going to hinder the chemistry of the Denver Nuggets? I don't think he will. I think they got enough veteran talent on that team to kind of cool it down. And
to kind of go off that veteran talent, let's go to the opposite. Michael Porter Jr. may end up being the steal of the draft. Injured out of Missouri. Everyone's so scared about him. You know what? If they rest him, I think the bigger part is you do not play Michael Porter Jr. as much as you need to or want to. Because you give him the time to rest, give him the time to rehab, and get him up to what he can be. He was a first overall pick before he got injured. So I think you just wait till he gets better. And
you gotta. It's a wait and see process. I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of take the same approach with Philadelphia did with Ben Simmons. And it wasn't that they didn't pick to sit Ben Simmons for his first season, but I think at the end of the day that kind of helped him. And I think it'll help Porter Jr. if he's there, if he's on the bench, he's learning from veteran guys. And I think, as long as he's healthy, I think he'll be a really great player. So number 4, big surprise by anyone who kind of knows the game of basketball.
You know what?
Skip it? Would you want to skip 4? And
We're not going to skip 4. Ryan, why don't you bring up your rankings? You've been kind of quiet recently.
We'll get to the suspense in a little bit.
It's funny to watch you two banter about this stuff.
I want to check your microphone, make sure it's still working and on. I know we were running out of batteries on it, so we got to make sure it's not losing power. But Ryan's got a bit of a hot take when it comes to the 3rd seed. And his mic is down, so you may not be able to hear Ryan at the moment. We're going to fix, We're going to record on the fly here. It's a live show. So you know what, Matt? You talk decently loud, so.
All right. I'm here. That's why you couldn't hear me. My mic was down. Yes, so my top 4. Okay, so I got, of course, you got the Warriors up there, number 1. The Jazz, number 2. I've got, actually, I have the Pelicans up at number 3. I think New Orleans is going to be do pretty well this year. I really like Anthony Davis. I think he's a dynamic player, and he can really help out the franchise. Number 4, I have Houston. I think Houston's going to play really, really well. this year. I really like James Harden. As much as people like to say, maybe not James Harden, but I think he's really good. He's got a really good shot, and I think, of course, you got it, buddy. I just gotta talk while you guys set this up. But yeah, I really like James Harden. I think he can really help out this team. I mean, I want him to win a championship. I really do, and it may not be possible with the Rockets, especially when you have like Golden State in your conference.
And when you have Carmelo Anthony on your team.
Oh yes. Yeah. Okay.
But
you're rooting for him. I like that. I was that way with a couple of players. I don't like the Rockets. Ryan Nelson, you don't like the Rockets.
I have number 4 as well because
but that's like not liking them because they were the 1 seed last year.
Yeah, they were.
I'm sorry for interrupting you, but
no.
There's two reasons, right? And there's actually 2 names. First off, it's Trevor Ariza. I think Ariza's better than Melo, and I think it's just because of the value of the team. Ariza shoots a lot more threes. Defense is always in high demand in the West because you got, especially at the small forward position. And Melo doesn't shoot that many threes. He's more of a mid-range guy. Doesn't play great defense. So I'm more of Ariza over Melo. And there's this guy not a lot of people know about. His name is Luke Mbah-a-Moute, right?
Beautiful on the pronunciation there.
Thank you. I've been practicing. So I'm gonna give you a stat here. Okay, the Rockets' defensive efficiency before he got hurt. Okay. Ryan Nelson, you want to guess what that was? Right. What do you think their rank was?
I'll say 6.
They were 3rd.
Okay.
When he got injured, can you tell me what?
26.
They were 28. Okay.
Wow.
So one guy. And he's a small forward. He's 6'8". He's super lengthy. He scores 8.6 points a game and is probably one of the best defensive players in the league. And that's why I'll just say right now, I have the Clippers 5. Frankly, just because of the fact that they have all these really good Houston Rockets on their team. Like they got Patrick Beverley, they have this Mbah-a-Moute guy, Lou Williams. Lou Williams comes off the bench.
True.
That's ridiculous. And then, so I think the Rockets, they're not going to be good on defense this year. And they lost some 3-point shooting. All in all, I don't think they're the team that they were last.
The Rockets pick, I agree with you. The Clippers pick, I definitely do not agree with you.
The Clippers are just a band of good guys with a great coach. And that's all you need.
Okay. So the way that I see it, we're talking a little loud here. The way that I see it, the Clippers are a team that plays really well defensively, and they have Lou Williams coming off their bench and who can score 25 a night if he needs to. But where's the offense coming from the rest of the guys? I mean,
Gallinari.
Danilo Gallinari is going to be the star in the team.
Let me look at that.
Okay. Clippers, Doc Rivers is a good coach. I think I like that.
No, you take that back. You say he's a great coach.
I'll give it to you. He is a great coach.
By the way, Tobias Harris, Danilo Gallinari, and Montrezl Harrell is your answer to who's going to score points. Because why are you laughing at?
Because every other person listening to this is laughing
Tobias
too.
Harris scored 26 points against arguably the best defense in the NBA, the New Orleans Pelicans, and Gallinari scored 24. And the Clippers are what are they? Do they play tonight? I think they're 2-1, 2-2.
Okay, good for them. Look at Danilo Gallinari's career stats. He's a 15 point.
It's now. We're in the now. We're in the now. All right.
And right now they're not too good.
I think they're good.
I think Tobias Harris is a little underrated of a player. I mean, I forgot him right there, but those guys being their star players, they're not
the stars. They're a band of good players. They're win games.
Yes, but when does a band of good players make a 5 seed in the Western Conference?
Denver did it with 2 years ago when they traded,
but in that
5 years ago when whenever they traded Melo, they were like the 3 seed just based off of like All those guys they got.
That was not the Warriors Western Conference. This is an entire different Western Conference than the one that they played in earlier. I have New Orleans number 5. Ryan mentioned them earlier, number 3. I mean,
yeah, I had them 6.
Yeah, I think New Orleans is a great team just because Anthony Davis is one of the best players. I think an underrated player, Drew Holiday.
Oh yeah,
he's a great player.
He should have been an All-Star last year.
He really should have. He's a great player.
I think I love about the what's their name? The
Pelicans
is that their offense. Alvin Gentry, very underrated coach. What he's done with that offense is that when Anthony Davis is off of the floor, they go Nikola Mirotic, Julius Randle, right, and they have Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
They go with a big lineup. They pound they go in the paint, points in the paint all day. They power themselves into baskets, right? When he's on the floor, Anthony Davis isn't the guy to have the ball for 50% of the time. He doesn't go up and he tries to shimmy. He takes, post fadeaway shots and he posts up and he puts it, in the basket. They use him as like a decoy. They really spread out the floor so Mirotic and Randall can get their baskets, and they have this lineup. All right, it's called a super big lineup. Right, it's Anthony Davis, it's Julius Randle, Nikola Mirotic, Drew Holiday. I gotta get and Alfred Payton, right? I go Holiday, Mirotic, Randle, Davis, and
Payton.
Payton, right? Tell me a team that can compete with that has the size to compete with that. You're playing three 6'10" guys on the floor.
You are, and that's a big lineup.
It's a big lineup. I don't think anyone, and they're all of the Holiday, Payton, and Mirotic can shoot. They
can. I think Mirotic he's a small forward in a power forward's body. Honestly, that's how I see it.
I think he's a shooting guard in a power forward's body.
He can be.
Good.
Yeah. He can't rebound, but he can shoot pretty dang well.
He got 12 rebounds against the Clippers.
Okay. I'll eat my words right there then.
You will.
New Orleans, you mentioned how big they are, and yes, they're big. Yes, Mirotic can shoot. Yes, Anthony Davis is a transcendent talent. Alfred Payton hasn't played well since he was drafted.
That is true. That is very true.
Julius Randle.
I think they would go with E'Twaun Moore over Payton.
And Moore is a defensive
He's a
beast.
defensive, I love him in that lineup because he just locks down defensively. He's probably better than he's kind of near the town of Mbah a Moute. So
okay. Julius Randle was let go by the Clippers, let go by the Lakers. Drew Holiday was almost not re-signed by the Pelicans. This is a team full of misfits that I think they have some motivation because they are misfits, but sometimes there's a reason these guys did not get re-signed by their teams.
Okay. I disagree with you. And here's why. I think that when Kevin Durant joined, and I talked to Ryan Nelson about this. When Kevin Durant joined the Warriors, right? There was kind of two mindsets of a team. It was, let's go and get players, right? OKC traded for Paul George. Houston traded for Chris Paul. The Timberwolves got Jimmy Butler, right? And I know I'm missing a couple more. I mean, Melo went to the Thunder. And in turn, right, the other players, all the another team. I'm sorry, I'm doing this wrong. The other teams, right? They were like, let's sit back, let's tank, let's get draft picks, okay? And then there were other teams who were already building, right? That was the New Orleans Pelicans, right? They were already building a team. They already had AD. They already had some talent. And when these players had to get paid, who got traded to these big market teams, right? Those teams had to say goodbye to good players, right? LA, they paid LeBron. They got rid of Julius Randle, right? Nikola got traded, and I think that all these players are dropping. And I don't think New Orleans are misfits. They're my dark horse for the West.
Okay. You know what? We're running low on time here, so we're just gonna continue moving on. Number 6, I have Minnesota. I think that everyone got too scared about the Jimmy Butler situation and knocking him down.
Yeah.
They still got Jimmy Butler. They still got.
They're 3-0.
Yeah, they still got Karl-Anthony Towns. They still got Andrew Wiggins. They still got bodies on that team who can play basketball.
Really do.
And Tom Thibodeau, as much as he runs them hard and makes them play defense,
they're actually 2-2. They're not. Yeah,
it's a good team.
I think it's a really good team. And I like Taj Gibson a lot on that team. And Derrick Rose too. He's gonna He's gonna play a big role.
Is that like the Bulls part 2? Former Bulls with like Derrick Rose, Jimmy Butler, Taj Gibson.
They just need Noah, and they're all good.
Yeah.
Tom Thibodeau does not want Joakim Noah on his team.
No, he doesn't want to. God, that'd be.
Does anyone? Let's be honest. Does anyone?
Look, he's a great locker room guy. He's a great locker room guy.
Good for him. Can he play basketball? I'm a great locker room guy. Why can't I play for the Timberwolves?
Yeah, that is true. Okay, so 8, I got the Lakers.
I have the Lakers number 7. I don't like the Lakers. I think LeBron.
Yeah,
I think it's LeBron,
yeah.
LeBron, and Lonzo.
Look, I think Lonzo is going to have a big year this year. He's a lot more efficient than last year. The keys on this team is Lance Stevenson and Brandon Ingram, and I think JaVale McGee's played really well so far. And I'm laughing at that too. They got to build some chemistry. They need a second star. This is kind of a feeling out year for the Lakers, but they'll make the playoffs, and you know I think they'll give the Warriors a little fight. They'll probably get close in 1 or 2 games. They'll probably lose in 5.
If you predict dark horses, I could predict a dark horse. The Lakers. Honestly, you cannot bet against LeBron James.
That is very true. That is very true. I mean,
you can't.
People don't realize the Cavs nearly beat. They almost beat the Warriors. They win game 1, and they were really close game 3. So.
Yeah, honestly, you can't bet against LeBron. And putting number 7 hurt me because
it was
LeBron.
tough for me to put him 8.
It's the best player in the NBA right now.
I had the Spurs in the playoffs, and then I said, no, I got to put LeBron in here.
I think LeBron went to the Lakers for the future. Not for what he wants now. The Lakers may not be good now, but they will be good in the future. I think Lonzo's going to develop. He's going to get really good, and then LeBron's going to help them develop. They're going to build this team around LeBron, try and get some other guys. So the future of the Lakers is very good. They will have a great future. In 2 or 3 years, they'll be like the past.
But it's not their year. Yeah,
even better.
Yeah.
The problem is LeBron's like 33, 34 years old.
He's like he said himself. He's a fine wine. Okay, he gets better with age.
Yes, but when that age becomes 45, sometimes it gets spoiled.
By the time the Lakers win their first,
it gets too fermented and just starts going bad.
By the time they win their first title, he'll be about 35. And so
that's 2 years.
He'll only be averaging 23 points a game and 5 rebounds and 4.
And Brandon Ingram is.
What are we gonna do?
Okay.
No, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
I was just playing devil's advocate. I agree.
I got the Spurs. They're just a good team. They don't have any.
I don't think the Spurs made the playoffs. I think they lost too many.
9 seed.
Okay. I have OKC sneaking in number 8.
Yeah, I have OKC.
I was torn between the Spurs and the Thunder. I just didn't really know. I mean, I really like Russell Westbrook. I think he kind of just carries the Thunder. So, but I mean, I was a little bit iffy. I really like DeMar DeRozan for the Spurs, but I don't really know.
I flipped the coin between OKC and the Lakers, and I got the Lakers. So OKC's out the playoffs for me.
Okay. Well, I think that you can't bet against Russell Wilson.
It's hard.
And Paul George. Those are 2 great players right there on the same team. And so,
are we wrapping it up?
We will soon. So do you have any final thoughts you guys got to say? Let's do our finals predictions, conference finals predictions.
Okay, conference finals for me, it's Raptors Celtics. Raptors beat the Bucks in 5 last round, and the Celtics beat the Pacers. Or no, I'm doing that wrong. I don't know. It's Raptors Celtics for me, Eastern Conference Finals. I think that the Raptors have a better record. The Celtics end up going to the finals.
Okay. Dalton, you want to go or want me to go?
No, I'll go. I think for the East, I think it's going to go Boston-Milwaukee.
Ooh, I like that.
Boston-Milwaukee, but I think Boston's going to come up, and I think it's going to be Warriors and Boston in the championship.
Okay. I also had Boston-Milwaukee, my top 2 seeds. I want to say Milwaukee's going to win, but as much as
it's Boston.
The NBA has no parity, so Boston's going to make it in the finals.
This isn't an opinionated answer. This is
if I could will a team to the finals, it would be Milwaukee.
I don't like the Bucks, so I wouldn't will them. But I think the Celtics.
You're a hater.
I just don't like Milwaukee.
You're just a hater.
God, I don't like Milwaukee. I'm not a big Milwaukee guy.
What do you got against Milwaukee?
Milwaukee everything. Just Wisconsin everything.
Okay, so the West, I have the Warriors and I'm gonna say Houston. I'll say
Wow.
Warriors.
No,
Houston.
wait, that's literally
Oh,
not
shoot.
possible though, because you have
right.
4, right? So they would have to play each other in the semis.
You're right. I have Warriors Houston in the semifinals,
Okay.
and I have
Good save.
and I have
Jazz or Nuggets?
neither.
Wow.
I have one of my 6 or 7 seeds. Let me check them really quick. I'm all over the place right now. Okay, you gotta calm down. You know what? I'm just gonna say it. I don't even care anymore. Minnesota.
Wow.
Minnesota's making it to the finals to play against the Warriors. Tell me I'm
You have
wrong.
them as a-
I have them in the 7th seed.
I know you do. That's
What?
okay.
I
Fine.
think Minnesota's gonna be who do you have?
I have them beating the Jazz in the first round, and I have them beating whoever I have else in that next
Okay.
round.
So just get to the point where you say the Warriors beat the Timberwolves. Please tell me they beat the Timberwolves. You're not gonna say that they go to the finals.
Well, yeah. You kidding me?
Great.
I'm okay.
Great.
I'm maybe a little bit crazy, but I'm not that crazy.
Go.
I'm not
The
that
look-
crazy.
The looks he was making before he said that.
So
yeah, no, okay. I
I
think.
Warriors Celtics, and I think Warriors win.
God.
I
We'll skip. We'll skip that.
I want the Celtics to win over the Warriors. I want it. I can't stress this enough. I want it so much, but it's gonna be the Warriors.
You can want it all you
I would
want.
say-
It's not
I would
going to
say the
change
Jazz
anything.
play the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. I think Warriors in 7. I think it's a close series.
Yes.
You think it's
I
close?
think it's a very.
I don't think it's even close.
think it's a-
I think by then DeMarcus is fully back in health.
I'm talking like a Curry 3 or a Kevin Durant dagger.
Okay, not
I'm-
that close.
I'm telling you.
I think it's that.
I'm telling you, the Warriors win 5 games
All right.
over the Celtics.
Okay.
The-
Yeah,
I-
I'm
the-
gonna say
okay.
Warriors. I'm gonna say Warriors in 6.
Okay, the Warriors. They have Kevin. They're gonna throw a lineup out there of Stephen
Jason
Curry.
Tatum is a good defensive player.
That's awesome. I have Curry, Thompson, Durant, Green, and DeMarcus Cousins out there for the NBA Finals. Please beat me. Please. I beg you.
I hate that. That's an all-star team.
Okay, Ryan's gonna get into some of his hated Saber teams.
Yeah, you should.
The stamp of
you should.
disapproval.
It's an all-star
So
team.
here's what we got. To wrap it up, okay? I have the Warriors winning the finals over the Celtics. So do my other 2 colleagues here. Is that correct?
Yes.
What'd you say? I wasn't listening.
Warriors over Celtics.
Warriors over Celtics. All 3 of us agree.
Yes.
The majority believes it's Raptors, Celtics, Bucks, 76ers for top 4 in the East.
Majority.
Majority.
Minority. Dalton and I both had the Bucks.
No, well, in the top 4.
Okay,
in the
sorry,
top
sorry,
4, I
yes,
meant. In
yes.
no particular order. Raptors, Celtics, Bucks, 76ers.
Yes.
In the West,
Yes.
the majority agree top 4 are Warriors, Jazz, Nuggets, Rockets. Yeah, I don't think the Rockets. I think that's our hot take. The Rockets aren't that good this year.
Well, I have the Pelicans up there in the top 4.
You do? Oh, you know
He is
what?
the- he's the
I
top
almost
3.
pulled the trigger. I almost pulled the trigger on that one. The Pelicans are going to be good this year.
Not that
We'll get back here during the trade deadline, definitely.
True.
To talk about the NBA because a lot is going to change since then. But we're going to quickly.
good. Oh, trust me.
Are
You know what?
Are we going to go to the NFL trade deadline for like
You know
8
what?
minutes?
We can for a couple minutes here. You know what?
What do you think about the Cooper trade?
I
I think it's
what
a
is-
great trade. I think it's a great trade for Gruden.
What is John Gruden feeding Jason Garrett and Jerry Jones? Because I would like some, so I can feed it to
You know
anyone I'm
what?
debating with.
You know what? I think that Jerry Jones likes the Raiders because and wait, this isn't honest. This isn't honest.
Come on. You can't be serious.
I think he likes the Raiders because the Raiders are going to Las Vegas, right? And I think
Good
that
for them.
the next like big city people would want to put an NFL town in would probably be San Antonio, and that would be like the worst thing in the world for Jerry Jones. So and now that like Oakland's already going to Vegas, I think the NFL is like, okay, we're done moving. Like we got 2 teams in LA and we got a team in Vegas. Like we're done. So I think he kind of likes him. I think it was a dumb trade though. But I think Gruden finally did something right. which-
I think so. I mean, are you a Bears fan, Matt?
I'm a huge Bears fan.
That's cool. I'm a Vikings fan. So, the Khalil Mack trade. Hey.
You know what? I don't.
Hey, what place are the Bears in? What place are the Vikings in? 4th place and 1st place, respectively.
You know what?
Thank you very
That's
much.
kind of a technicality because we have the same record as the team in the 2nd place. So.
True. Okay, so you know what? Honestly, when it comes to the Raiders, they made a decent trade for a first-round pick for Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper's 24 years old when he was drafted in the top 10. You know, that's a player.
He is young. He's wildly inconsistent.
Very
wildly
true.
Inconsistent.
True, but you know what? The Cowboys, they've had some good receivers in the past, and maybe they
probably top 10 ever.
Yeah.
Des Bryant just.
Michael
I don't know
Irvin's-
why they got. I don't know how is he not
Michael Irvin.
signed. How is he not signed with the team yet?
I
think that's his side, not the NFL.
Oh yeah,
That's
I heard
definitely
he was offered,
his side.
I heard he was offered a contract, and he said, "No, I don't want that money. I want some years of money." That's the thing.
Yeah,
he's
I
not
think he
gonna
wants a guarantee because he thinks he's a guarantee.
He wants guaranteed money and term. He's not going to get either of that.
And I
with any
think
team in the league.
because of, and that's why he resents Jerry Jones because the Cowboys dropped him. Everyone thinks, oh, he's kind of like out of it, but he's not. Like he really isn't.
Not at all. He what is he? 30 years old?
But everyone uses that as leverage. I would resent Jerry Jones too because of that. I mean, there was no reason why he needed to get cut. I mean, you're telling me that Terrence Williams is
Cole
as good. I mean,
Beasley.
look at that team is dysfunctional without Dez. Honestly, they have no one to throw to.
That I have to disagree with.
I
I
mean,
think they're
well,
dysfunctional
Zeke,
with Dez.
Zeke, that's in the locker room. I'm saying on the field.
Okay. I agree with on the field, but
It's so hot in here.
I think that the off the field is why Dez isn't signed. Honestly, I think that's the big factor because no team wants him in their locker room because all the stories they've heard and everything like that. But
yeah, I totally agree with you.
in my opinion, I think this trade for the Oakland Raiders is actually decent. Another trade I want to talk about.
1 second. They got 5 first-round picks. In 2 years. That's absurd.
It's pretty good. The 2 of them are for the Bears though, which is gonna be top 5 picks. So you know that's pretty decent.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's
no,
a low blow there.
That's false. All right, so another trade. Well, talk about another trade you want to talk about. I got one more guy.
I want to talk about Carlos Hyde to the Jaguars because
I absolutely love it.
As a Leonard Fournette fantasy owner, I hate this so much because it scares me because it says, you know what, we don't trust Fournette's health and we want to keep him on the sidelines for as much as possible.
Yeah, that's a team decision right there. That's
It's
like
a long-term decision as well.
Yeah, because I think that they have the confidence that they can get to the playoffs
With Blake Bortles.
Well,
Yes.
I mean, they got to the championship game last year with him.
With Blake
Yeah, look, he's not.
No,
he's,
the
they
Jaguars,
got to the
Jaguars
championship.
were carried by their defense last year.
They were, and
And
the
by
defense is not as good.
No.
and by a
front
healthy
seven.
running game.
Yeah.
Yes, Leonard Fournette carried the offense, and the defense carried.
Yeah, they needed without Leonard Fournette, their offense is very one-dimensional, and that one dimension isn't very good because Blake Bortles is Blake Bortles. So I like the Carlos Hyde trade. What did they get from a third?
It was something like that.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
I mean,
it
that's
wasn't
a-
great, but it wasn't bad.
That wasn't horrible.
was a trade.
One more thing before we go. I really want Patrick Peterson to be a Bear. Do they need
That
Patrick
stinks
Peterson?
because you don't have any first-round picks.
I mean, we could
I really want Patrick Peterson to be a Viking.
Amuka Moore in a third? Would you do that?
If I'm the
you're the
Arizona Cardinals,
Would you do a Amuka Moore in a third?
I
Or Amuka Moore and we don't have any. Do we have a second? We have Oakland second, but I wouldn't want to trade that. That's like a first round pick.
basically.
Basic. I mean, it's like the
So
34th
if
pick.
I'm the Cardinals, I don't feel the need to trade Patrick Peterson anymore, so I do not do the deal. If Patrick Peterson is still saying I want out of here, then yes, I do that deal. But he hasn't been saying that. He kind of rescinded his statement. I don't think they trade him.
Did he?
He made the kind of statement saying I love the Cardinals organization. I'm trying hard for them every day. You know, he still wants out of there, but I think that I think it's the tensions have quelled just enough to be satisfied for the year.
Keyword: I hope. I hope and I want. Will it happen?
No.
Probably not. I think. But the big thing about him going into the Saints is who are the Saints going to trade? I think that the Saints are in a bad position where they have so much young talent that they can't make a trade without anyone saying, no, we want Lattimore, or no, we want Kamara, or no, we want this guy.
The Saints only have 3 picks this year. They have a first, a third, and a seventh. I think it is. After all the trades they've made, a first, a third, and a seventh.
Who do the Vikings play this week?
The Vikings play the. They're a pretty decent team. They're Saints. They're playing the Saints.
Okay.
Yes, because Kirk Cousins on my fantasy team.
Yeah, that is a good point, by the way. They only have 3 picks.
Best quarterback in the league, Kirk Cousins.
Well, yeah, he's a good quarterback, but he doesn't have an offensive line to support him.
He's got receivers though. Okay, well stop arguing about the Vikings here.
We'll make it. I'll take the. What's the spread on that?
I have no idea. I haven't checked. I don't look at that.
That's
stuff.
my lock of the week.
Hey.
Saints over Vikings.
Khalil Mack.
Okay. Okay. You know what? Here, one final thing. I want to ask you guys one question. You guys give me a yes or no answer. Is Eli Manning a giant by the end of the year?
I think he'll finish the year.
Stop. I need a yes or no answer, Ryan.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I assume yes as well. I think that he's gone by the end of by after this, but okay. Well, that's how we're gonna finish here today. Thank you all for listening. Have a great rest of your week or weekend, depending on when you guys are listening to this. Thank you, Matt and Ryan, for joining me here today. Talk about some Madden. Oh my gosh, talking some NBA 2K and some Madden. You know, that's how we talk about here.
What about NBA Live? You can't leave that out.
NBA Live isn't real. That's how we're gonna end it here. Thank you all for listening. Have a great rest of your week or weekend, and go Dons.